Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kate and I'm a professional makeup artist based in England. Today we are of course transforming into Magenta from Rocky Horror, so if you'd like to see how I did this makeup, please keep watching. Hello everyone, we are going to do makeup inspired by Magenta from Rocky Horror today. So Rocky Horror is one of my all-time favourite films. I love it so much, and I'm actually filming this the day before the 50th anniversary, but I think I'm going to post this tutorial a little bit closer to Halloween. But yeah, so let's get straight into it. I'm in a slightly different filming location today. I'm in my kitchen because at the moment the UK is going through like a 30 to 35 degree heat wave, and it is so hot upstairs in my studio that I literally can't film. It's impossible. So we have a green background today, but I'm kind of liking it, and also this means that I can bring my little doggies to say hello. This is Archie, he's my little baby, and this is Rudy, my other little baby. Hi. He's like, why are you holding me like this? Anyways, we're starting off with base today, so I'm taking a mixture of the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation and then my old and trusty Danessa Myricks Vision Cream Cover. This is in the shade TW, which is a pure white shade. I want my base to be a little bit lighter, but I don't want it to be completely stark white, so this is always really, really good to have to lighten things up. I've popped this on my palette. This palette is a little disgusting, but I use it all the time. And then I'm going to take my Jolie Beauty Flawless Foundation brush and just push that product and prime the brush. And I haven't used this brush for ages, but it's so good. Like, you can literally do your makeup in like 3 swipes, like I will show you. It's got such a big surface area that it's like so easy to blend all of your product out. I'm just sort of stippling and buffing at the same time, getting it all over. And this is actually a pretty simple makeup, but it's so effective, especially if you have like all the costume bits with the wig as well. And it's all up into the hair as well, into the hairline, even though I washed my hair yesterday, so this isn't the best thing to do, but it's fine. I've gone back into Vision Cream Cover because this is actually a 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. So I'm just using this to brighten and conceal under the eyes, and then just bring some light into the centre of the face. But you can see, like, I'm not really doing this very precisely, it's just sort of slapping it on, which I feel like is the vibe, so I love that this is going to be like so quick and easy. I'm now taking the Mehron, I never know how you say the brand name, but this is one of my favourite brands for any sort of like theatrical or creative makeup. So I'm taking the Colorset powder. This is a loose powder, and this is really, really good for setting any sort of face paint or any base makeup. And I want it to be quite powdery, so I've used quite a lot. Jolie Beauty Powder Puff, and we're just pressing everything into the skin. So with these sort of looks, specifically for stage as well, and in that time period, you know, like late 70s, 80s, they were putting the powder on, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to get it on there. You want that shit to stay, so as much powder as possible. And slap it on, tap it in, tap, 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 tap. Reference photos of Magenta do vary, whether it's in different lighting or a lot of the pictures online have been edited to some degree. Looking at this photo, you can see there's not really much going on in terms of dimension in the face. I think there's probably a little bit of like a grey or cool tone contour just to give some structure, but it is very much just a flat base. So I am going to go in with a little bit of my Kaleidos Contour Trio because this shade in the middle has quite a grey undertone, so it's really nice for actually sculpting, adding shadows to the face. So taking an angled contour brush, I'm just going to start sculpting, pressing into underneath the cheekbone, just to add a slight bit of colour and definition. And the key is to use something that's very cool toned, because that's the way that you're actually going to get a shadow versus just like a blob of orange like most bronzers would give, especially on such a pale base. Right underneath the cheekbone to the corner of the mouth. A tip, if you're not sure, is to line up your brush with the top of your ear and the corner of your mouth, and that line will be your contour, or you can physically feel where the contour of your cheek is. And then I'm going to take a big fluffy eyeshadow brush. This is a 223 from Zoeva. Dip straight back into the contour, so this middle shade, and we're just going to sculpt the sides of the nose as well. So right from the front of the brow and then down the side. You can see the definition across her nose here, and then you want to get right into the inner part of your socket just to give that nice depth. Time for brows. So I've had bleached brows for like a month now, so it's going to be weird seeing myself with like regular eyebrows again. Take this Glossier Boy Brow. This is a tinted brow gel, so I can get some of the actual colour back without having to draw too much. This is so weird. This is so strange. So just to coat the hairs a little bit as a guide. NYX Lift and Snatch. This is black. I'm going to start filling in, brushing upwards through the front, because obviously you're actually going to see the product a lot more now. There's not really any like particular technique or method for this. All I'll say is the brows are pretty flat and the arch sort of like arches up here then goes down, so I always bring my tail when I have normal brows quite high out to the side, so I'm going to have to actually follow my natural brow shape for once. So I'm just making sure to bring down the end of the tail, like down here, with voyeuristic intentions. Moving on to eyes, I'm going to go in with some of my favourite products, which are the Melt Cosmetics Melted Liquid Eyeshadows. These are so easy to use. So we're going to do the white and black, and then I'm going to use my Jolie Beauty Hellish palette for like these purpley reddy shades. I feel like when a lot of people do this makeup, they always just do like a black smoky eye, but there is actually a little bit of red, a washed out reddy purple, but there is a very highlighted white brow bone. So we're going to go in with the Melted Liquid Eyeshadow. This is in the shade, I can't bloody see, Ultra White. I'm just going to add some on the back of my hand. This stuff is so pigmented and it's so easy to use. A flat shader brush. This is from What's Up Beauty. It's an R106. I'm making sure to get an equal amount of product on both sides. It's almost like a Jessica Rabbit-esque sort of shape, that very kind of like big and rounded. So you can see not only how pigmented this is, but how easy it is to work with. And once these shadows dry down, they do dry down like a regular shadow, so they're just a really unique formula. Like I don't have anything else in my collection or my kit like this. And same on the other side as well. If you can hear little tippy taps on the floor, my dogs are in here. Making sure to get this right in that inner corner as well. You can see in this photo the white goes all the way in, up to the brow bone, and then all the way out. So making sure to fill the space here. And then just using my finger to sort of like tap that in. I'm now going to go into my Jolie Beauty Hellish palette. This was from the Festival collection, so these are all mini palettes and they're super, super cute. I'm going to go into Whiplash, which is this sort of like burgundy. It's not too purple but not too red, perfect for what we need. I'm actually taking a flat shader brush, which isn't what I would normally do for eyeshadow, but as you can see in the photo, very defined. It's almost painted on rather than blended, so this is going to work perfectly. Mapped out the shape already from the white, so I'm going to use that as a guide, and I'm just going to start pressing. The beauty with this as well is it doesn't have to be really seamlessly blended. It's meant to just be high impact, stagey sort of vibes, so I don't need to worry about it too much, which is so nice. We don't have to do all the blending. Using this to create a very intense, very theatrical cut crease. Also making sure to not bring the end too far out. We don't want any sort of wing going on. We want it to be very, very rounded, so you need to circle it back round and then almost try and join the end of your lash line. We're going to go in with the black Melted Liquid Eyeshadow. This is the shade Nightswim. I tell you what, this is one of the easiest ways you're going to get a very pigmented black smoky eye. And you'll be able to see how easily this blends out. So I'm just going to take this fluffy blending brush. This is from Cash Beauty. It doesn't have a name though. And we're just going to blend this out all over the lid. Switch into a smaller brush to get right in the inner corners and on the lower lash line. So this is a PC33 from Peaches and Cream. I use this brush all the time on myself and in my kit because it's so teeny tiny. You can get into all the little areas that you need to without spreading the product too far. That right underneath and connecting it to the top where that rounded shape is. And going back in with that previous Cash Beauty brush just to blow out the bottom a tiny bit. There's no new product on this, it's just whatever's kind of dried down and left on the brush, and then whatever's on the lower lash line already. Just need to tightline and waterline, and I'm going to use my favourite pencil ever. You guys know it. If you don't already know it, this is the Melt Slick Waterline Pencil in black Onyx. Probably my favourite product ever. Like, I use this all the time. I don't think I ever do my makeup and I don't use this, so it is amazing. I'll show you how creamy this formula is. Like, it's so good. And it blends out so easily, so you can actually use this for a smoky eye as well. So we're just going to go right into the waterline. See how much of a difference that's already made. And then I'm just going to look down and do tight line as well. Don't worry if you can't do this, it is a little bit of a weird thing to get used to if you've not done it before. Go in with my Jolie Beauty Amplified Mascara. This is my new fave. It's a tubing mascara, so it just makes my lashes look so long. I'm not going to bother curling because I am going to stick a false lash on, but we just want to make sure that the actual lashes underneath are as dark as possible. Otherwise it's going to ruin the illusion. My bottom lashes are actually quite long anyway, so if you didn't want to do a bottom lash and you've got longer lashes, you can probably get away with it. But of course I'm going to add a lash because I feel like you just have to. The top lashes, I'm going to go with this pair. I honestly have no idea where they've come from or what brand they are, but they're just sort of like long and quite wispy. Just using some Duo latex-free brush-on lash glue. Just running this along the lash band. I like this glue a lot because the guide colour is blue. So you know as it starts to go clear, it's starting to dry, so it's always good to leave it about 30 seconds to go tacky. If you've got to wear this for a long night, if it's Halloween or if it's actually for Rocky Horror, you can also take some of this glue and brush it directly on your lash line, and this is almost going to like double stick them, and I promise you they won't come off because that's what I do when I'm working with dancers and performers, people that are sweating loads. This is how you make sure that they stay on. But I'm not going to do that today because I'm not actually going anywhere, so I'm just going to pop them on. I always look down, holding a mirror like underneath my chin. You can actually see where the lashes are going, and you don't have to close your eyes because you can just like slot it on that way. If you do it like this and then try and close your eye but then try and put the lash on, like there's too much going on, glue gets everywhere and it gets very frustrating. So popping a mirror under your chin is the easiest way that you can do this. For bottom lashes, I'm going to go with this random multi-pack I have, and I'm going to go for these ones. This time I'm actually going to stick the lashes on the wrong way round. So instead of applying them this way, you want to flip it so the lash band's upside down, so like they kind of like curve outwards from your face. Otherwise they'll just be like stuck to your under eye completely. So this time you can hold the mirror a little bit higher because obviously we don't need our eyes to be closed, or we don't need to see the top of the lid. Just keep looking straight ahead and just have a little play around. Also use tweezers if you find it a little bit too fiddly just using your fingers. I've ran mascara vertically along the bottom lashes, so I feel like you can actually see the difference between the two sides. This side's just a bit softer, which we don't want. No time for softness in a magenta look. So we're just going to do the same again, run it along vertically, and it's just going to redefine some of the lashes and just make them look a little bit more spiky. The lip shade in the reference photos differs quite a lot, so some of them it looks super bright red like this, whereas others it looks a little bit darker. Like here it looks a lot darker, so I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. I'm going to start off with my Eternal lip liner from Jolie Beauty. This is in the shade Rebel. I'm going to overdraw quite a lot on top and bottom, so right underneath my lip, like my lip line is here and I go all the way down there. The trick is, if you don't want it to look too crazy, is to keep all of the volume in the centre of the lip rather than the sides. For some reason it was looking way too much of like a pinky red on camera, so I've gone over the top with the Melt Caffeine lip pencil and just basically like gone over it. We just forget the other shade. Lipstick is super glossy, so I'm going to go in with this Jolie Beauty Electric Lip Gloss in the shade Omen, which is a really, really nice sort of like dark reddish brown, and just apply this all over. And these are also like another product that are super pigmented. So excited! And this is the look pretty much finished. I'm going to go away, get changed, do a wig, and come back to show you the final look. anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you know when I've posted, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!